You just won $175 billion. Seriously, the highest court in the land just looked at the government and said, that money you took? Illegal. Give it back.
Cue the champagne, right? Importers are celebrating, headlines are screaming victory for the rule of law, and the stock market is going up? Totally normal.
But here's the thing. That refund you're cheering for, it's already melting.
And the puddle it leaves behind is going to flood your wallet before a single check gets mailed.
Stick with me for the next 10 minutes, and I'll show you exactly where that money really is, and why the celebration is a trap. Let's rewind about 36 hours.
February 20th, 2026, 2 p.m. Eastern. The Supreme Court drops a bomb.
They rule that the former guy's retaliatory tariffs, the ones he slapped on damn near everyone under some old law called IEPA, were illegal. Not just a little illegal, completely unauthorized.
The court, led by Chief Justice Roberts, basically said, you can't just declare a trade war because you feel like it. And just like that, the government owes $175 billion back to the businesses that paid it.
Now, you hear a number like that, $175 billion, and your brain short-circuits.
It's abstract. It's just big number bad. So let's make it real. That's more than the entire annual budget for the Department of Education.
It's bigger than the GDP of Hungary.
It's enough to give every single man, woman, and child in America about $520 in cash. It is a staggering, nation-sized pile of money.
And the initial reaction, the one you saw plastered all over the business news, was pure joy.
Mainstream narrative was set. Supreme Court slaps down presidential overreach. Importers set for massive windfall. Victory for free trade.
Peter Schiff started tweeting about inflation, but everyone else was busy popping corks.
The logic seemed simple. The government took money it wasn't allowed to take. Now they have to give it back.
Justice is served. The system works. Good guys win.
But sure, let's just sit with that for a second.
The system works. The government is going to write a check for $175 billion and everything will be fine.
They'll just reach into the drawer, pull out the illegal tariff refund envelope, and hand it over. Totally normal government efficiency. Nothing to see here. Here's the thing nobody in the mainstream is asking. The question that turns this victory lap into a slow-motion train wreck. Where is that money right now?
Not in some hypothetical sense. I looked deeper, and what I found is a gaping hole in the logic. That money wasn't collected last week. It was collected over the course of 2025.
Month by month, shipment by shipment, importers paid these illegal tariffs to U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And the U.S. That money is gone. This is the spent money trap. And it's the crack in the foundation that changes everything. So now we have a problem.
the government has a legal obligation to refund $175 billion. But it doesn't have the money.
So how does the government get money when it doesn't have it? It does what it always does. It calls the one friend who can never say no.
The money printer chief over at the Federal Reserve.
Plot twist. This isn't a refund. It's a brand new spending bill. It's a stimulus package that nobody voted for, dressed up in a judicial robe. The government is going to have to create $175 billion out of thin air to pay back the companies that overpaid.
They're not reversing a transaction, they're starting a new one.
Let me walk you through the real mechanism, because this is where you see who actually wins and who gets left holding the bag. Step 1. What they tell you. Companies file a claim, the government verifies it, and a refund is issued. This is a victory for the rule of law and fiscal responsibility. It feels good. Step 2. What's actually happening? The government has a hole in its pocket. The money is spent. To fill that hole and pay the refund, they don't cut back on other spending. That's not how this works. They don't say, well, I guess we can't afford that new aircraft carrier. No, they go to the central bank and they monetize the debt. They print it. Step 3. Who benefits from the confusion? The big corporations, first and foremost. The ones with the legal teams, the accountants, the lobbyists.
Thousands of smaller businesses won't even try. They'll just give up. The money that was supposed to be refunded to them, it stays in Washington.
And the politicians? They get to play both sides. They can stand on the steps of Congress and rail against the fiscal irresponsibility of printing money.
It's a beautiful, cynical machine.
But step 4 is where you come in. This is how retail, how you, get trapped.
You hear the word refund, and your brain associates it with something positive, something neutral. You think of money changing hands, but not new money being created. You think of it as a transfer, like when you return a sweater to Amazon. The money just moves from one pocket to another. But that's wrong! This isn't a transfer. This is the government going to the basement, turning on the printing press, and creating new dollars that didn't exist 5 minutes ago.
Retail investors hear refund and think disinflation. They think money is being taken out of the system.
They are exactly backwards. This is massively inflationary. The government is about to inject 175 billion brand new dollars into the economy.
That doesn't make your money stronger. It dilutes it.
Every dollar in your savings account, every dollar in your emergency fund just became a tiny bit less valuable because there are now more of them chasing the same amount of stuff. And this brings us to the golden link. Why did gold surge to $5,500 an ounce the moment this news broke?
Why is it pushing past 5,100 as we speak? Because the market is not stupid. The market saw this coming before the mainstream media even finished writing their victory headlines. Gold is the canary in the coal mine. It's the asset that says, I don't trust your paper dollars. I don't trust your promises to be fiscally responsible. The market is anticipating the added supply long before distribution happens, pricing in a massive wave of newly created liquidity. And it's screaming at you to pay attention. Let's go back to that number for a second. $175 billion. Remember that 37% figure? The one from the National Bureau of Economic Research that said about 37% of tariff costs were passed directly to consumers? That's you. If you bought an imported car last year, or a new laptop, or even just some furniture, a chunk of that price was this illegal tax. And now the government is going to refund that money. But not to you. To the companies.
The same companies that already raised their prices on you. They get a windfall. You get nothing.
Except, of course, the inflation that comes from printing the money to pay them.
You get to pay for their refund twice. Once in the higher price you already paid.
Think about that for a second. Let that settle.
The government spent your money, now they're going to print new money to pay back the companies that collected it from you. And they're calling it justice. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's a closed loop. And you're not in it.
So what does this mean for you, right now, today? The 150-day clock is ticking.
That's the timeline the court gave the government to figure this out. 150 days until the refund chaos really begins.
There's only one lever, and they will pull it. They always pull it.
This is why you're seeing the price action you're seeing. Gold at 5,500, pushing towards 6,300 by the end of the year if JP Morgan's projection is even close. This isn't a bubble. This isn't mania. This is an asset class accurately pricing in the debasement of the currency it's priced in. The mainstream financial media will keep celebrating. They'll keep telling you that the system worked, that the court saved the day, that this is a victory for the little guy.
They'll show you the smiling CEOs getting their massive refund checks. They won't show you the printing press.
That's my job.
The clock is ticking on your wallet's value. 150 days! Do you really think they're not going to print it?
Do you really think the money printer chief is going to look at a legal obligation to pay $175 billion and say, sorry, we're fresh out of cash, better not? Of course not. The machine will hum, the dollars will flow, and the purchasing power of your savings will quietly drain away.
I've showed you the mechanism. I've walked you through the trap. You've seen the spent money, the empty well, water pump label. The market has already voted. Gold is screaming. It's not just a hedge against geopolitical risk anymore. It's a hedge.
My move? I'm watching. I'm waiting for the first wave of refund claims to hit. For the first headlines about the Treasury finding the money.
Staying liquid, but not in cash, in things that can't be printed, in things that the market has already identified as the escape pod. But this isn't about my move. This is about yours. You've seen the map. You know where the trap is. The question is whether you walk.
So here's what I need from you. Drop it in the comments. One word, one sentence. Tell me, do you trust the government to write this check without breaking something?
Do you think they can refund $175 billion they don't have without crashing the car? I want to see the optimists. I want to see the skeptics. In the next video, I'm going to show you exactly where to hide. I'm going to break down the assets that benefit when the government makes a $175 billion mistake.
Until then, stay skeptical. And for the love of your purchasing power, stay liquid, not in dollars, in stuff that matters. I'm Scarf. I'll see you in the next one.